Are you guys coming back? Are you? Let's give everybody a minute. Let's see. Let's see. Because I sure was talking about the people. The people. The people. So we'll go over to Married to Medicine for a minute. Okay, thanks for coming back, you guys. Yeah, Mercury retrograde. Mercury freaking retrograde. But you know what? They're not stopping nothing. Don't panic, pivot in true Capricorn fashion, okay? I'm a double Capricorn Cancer. Therefore, I pivot, I don't panic. So it shut us down on the other one, and we're back over here. We are back in the building. And thanks for coming back. Make sure you smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. If you haven't already, ring the bell so you can get notified when we upload videos. So the people on the thumbnail, we're going to be talking about a different people. And we had Sweet and Sour up on the thumbnail for a number of reasons. I feel like Sweet and Sour and Phaedra are part of the problem on why Married to Medicine's ratings have gotten lower. Nobody wants to see this shit. Nobody wants to see you bring exes around and all that stuff. And then it just doesn't resonate. And maybe it's not even the exes. Maybe people aren't into seeing Dr. G specifically. Maybe that's what it is. Perhaps. Because Sour and Dr. G trying to rewrite history. On Married to Medicine, we had Sweet and Sour introduce us to Mimi as her friend. Remember, she's like, oh, we're friends. We're friends. That's my friend. Her and her and Gregory work together. And she's always saying that she's real and she wouldn't do anything just for the show. Well, somebody said 404 to 919 said, and another thing, Mimi nor her long chin husband are your friends. And to that, Sweet and Sour said, we were never real friends. There were even plans for me to film in her office, which I refused. I heard through the grapevine that they wanted to have a storyline with me seeing Mimi and painting me to be crazy. Funny how some call themselves real friends, yet plan an entire season without even consulting you of what the plans are. I choose to go my own route and film what is authentic to me, not anyone else's storyline. I think when I took a different approach, people didn't know how to handle it, so they grasped at anything to create a false narrative against me. What? I'm like, did I miss something? What did Mimi say that now it's a false narrative against you? Because on the sandbar, Mimi, I did not appreciate when Mimi got up and was like, they're just trying to ruin your relationship. That's what they want. Remember, I was like, oh, she's not the psychiatrist you need. And she obviously is on the payroll of Dr. G. Or maybe she's talking about, I don't know what she could be talking about. Maybe she's talking about the fact that Mimi said since the season wrap, they got all the episodes. And in those, Mimi's saying things like, you know, she didn't really say she wanted to. She doesn't really seem like she's sticking to Sweet and Sour. But hey, that's what happens. When you see a sink shipping, you're not trying to hang on just because you think the ship is pretty. No, you're trying to get to a life vest and a lifeboat and get off the pretty ship because pretty ain't gonna save your ass, okay? So Sweet Tea is a sinking ship right now. Her and her friend, the Titanic, Phaedra, her and her friend, yes, those two, they're Titanic riddled. Yeah, they are. They are. and they're sinking. And that's why Contessa even jumped the alliance and scurried her ass right back over to make up with Dr. Heavenly. She sure did. As soon as Phaedra jumped her ass on that private jet, she scurried her ass back on over there and was trying to make nice with Heavenly. She sure was, because the alliance had failed miserably. Miserably. And now, Sweet and Sour has been saying that, her and Phaedra are still talk. I don't think so, because she threw Phaedra under a bus the other day. She said something Phaedra told her to do. And we were like, I bet you about to get blocked. You about to get blocked. Okay. Let's see. Can I find the other thing? So what do you guys think about this? Do you think Sweet and Sour is bitter? Sweet and Sour is given bitter tea at this point, but bitters is very good for our digestive system and very useful in our bodies to have bitter teas. Okay, she might want to add it to her line. A nice bitter tea. Very healthful. Okay. I personally think that Phaedra and Sweet Tea and even Contessa literally thought they could just like rewrite history and repaint a narrative. But Dr. G, showing his abusive tendencies for all to see with no remorse and no accountability, zero remorse and zero accountability. I mean, I thought Dr. G was a backup singer for Erica Jane's How Many Fucks Do I Give? I could swear he's rolling through the streets of Atlanta talking about zero, 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 none, not one. How many fucks do we give? How many fucks? Dr. G don't give any fucks on taking accountability for being or looking like a woman beater. I'm like, with all the stuff Sweet and Sour's talking about, reporting other people to the board and they're professional and what about their practices, and I'm like, she's saying that Gregory is not concerned at all about how he's coming off looking to the public. Oh no, he's fine. But she also thinks that she's fine. And I'm just like, girl, blink twice. Really and truly, blink twice. Because you're his second victim. In my opinion, Sweet and Tea is Greg's newest victim. And for the men and women of Married to Medicine to rally around an abuser and his new victim while trying to force Quad Webb to eat the sins of these other people. Oh, you just need to forgive. Oh, you just need to move on. Oh, you need to suck it up, Buttercup. They haven't taken any accountability. I know he called the police on your man and then lied and said he didn't. I know that he feels that he didn't instigate nothing. Oh yeah, let's get to the word of the day. I had a word of the day. Remember I used to do that a lot, you guys? Because your girl loves etymology. And the word of the day is instigate. Instigate. I think it's instigate. Instigate. That's the word of the day. What does Drizzy and Dr. G have in common? What does Drizzy Drake, BBL Drizzy, and Dr. G have in common? I'll give you a hint. It has to do with the word of the day. The word of the day is
instigate.
I'll say it again. The word of the day is
instigate.
Oh my gosh. Did you get it? Did you get the word of the day, boys and girls?
Instigate.
Oh my gosh. That's what Drizzy and Dr. G have in common. They both goaded their opponents and then they both pressed charges. They're very similar types of Mitches, wouldn't you say? Because they both instigated, which is another word for goad, and we'll get into it. But let's look at this. Instigate. To bring about or initiate an action or an event. Verb, instigate, instigates, instigated. instigating. Similar, set in motion, put in motion, go underway, to get going, to get it off the ground. Similar, to incite, encourage, urge. I like the word goad. Provoke, spur on, drive on. Well, UMG, the record label for BBL Drizzy, is trying to get the case thrown out. And they said specifically because Drizzy brought this on himself because he instigated this beef with Kendrick Lamar and goaded Kendrick Lamar with previous diss tracks for years that went unanswered. And because of his direct actions of instigation and goading against Kendrick Lamar, they're asking for the case to get thrown out. And I'm going to use their same tactics here. I feel like Dr. G has instigated these things with Quad and King based off of his relationship with Quad from all those years ago, when she's over, yet her healing is not completed yet. And everybody knows it could take as long as it takes for somebody to heal from getting dragged across the floor by a man that talks like this and wants to impregnate you and is a freaking mastermind fucker. Yeah. It could take a decade. She was with him for a decade. It could take a decade for her to actually heal. They say how long you were on him is how long you're supposed to be off him to heal. And if her and Dr. G were together for 12 years, it could take 12 years for her to heal. And we're only at a what, year 6-ish? It's been 6 years since their divorce, about, because that happened season 6. And we're in season 11 going into 12. So it's about 6 years since that happened. So she has at least 4 more years of healing as far as I'm concerned, especially after being instigated and goaded into a harmful mental space because of her abusive husband. Let's continue with these words of the day. Instigate.
Instigate.
Now, what does it mean to instigate? To cause it to happen or begin, often by urging or goading others into. It can suggest a negative and underhanded intent. Oh my gosh, really? Here's a more detailed explanation of what Dr. G is doing, as far as I'm concerned, with instigation. It means to cause something, responsibility. Instigate implies that someone is responsible for initiating or encouraging someone else's answers. Oh, sorry. There we go. Yeah. So this right here is what Dr. G did. He was responsible for initiating and encouraging King's actions with an underhanded intent. So him getting up, flailing his arms in King's face, talking about Quad in such a disparaging way, and then saying, I want you to take up for her. I hope you protect her. And then continuing to disrespect her was him goading. Let's look up the word goad. Let's look up the word goad. I really like the word goad. It's almost like gnome. I like G words. Goad. Words of the woman.
Goad.
Okay.
Goad.
Okay. Goad. Goad, goads, goaded, goading. Provoke or annoy. Wouldn't you say that Dr. G's existence is annoying? I mean, from the voice to his demeanor to his arrogance, everything. The way he mind fucks people, his narcissistic ways, all of that stuff. And these are all allegedly, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes here on LRGA Curves. Based off of what I've seen as a viewer, though, it did look like he goaded a lot of the situations, okay? And that he annoyed King and wanted to stimulate someone into action. It literally means stimulate someone into action. You see that? And that is what Dr. G did by getting up and down. 3 times he got up and down in King's face. He could have stayed seated with his big cigar, which was basically an appendage for his penis. Like he was trying to make it seem like that was that big too, since you have King standing around. And for Dr. G, and I'm sure the G stands for girl, but I don't want to even give girls a bad name. For Dr. Gross, let's call him Dr. Gross. To provoke, spur, prick, sting, prod, agon, hound, badger. Yes, for him to do all of those things to King and then be in the finale talking about, I said what I said. I'm really hurt. I'm really hurt by the fellas not taking up for me. I mean, I started a fight. I wrote a lot of checks my ass couldn't cash. And now the police won't even take me seriously. And I'm really hurt. I'm traumatized by the trauma I caused Quad. And nobody will let me off the hook for. And yeah. So I'm really mad that I
Goad.
and get held to the fire and people want me to stop, but I can't stop because I'm a Mitch. That's what it is. I'm a Mitch and I have this young wife and she's about to do anything I say, even though I gave her 2 years. I gave her womb 2 years to give me a baby. Yeah, that's Dr. G, you guys. He provoked. He's a Mitch. I wonder if there's a meaning for what is it when someone goads another to the point of a fight, then claims to be the victim? Let's see if there's anything. When someone goads another into a fight and then claims to be a victim, it's a form of manipulation and a pattern of behavior often associated with reactive abuse, playing the victim, or narcissistic tendencies. Oh, I didn't even know we get such a juicy ass answer. I was just typing my feelings, you guys. I was just typing my feelings, and look what he gave us about G. And that was how I felt about G. So basically I said, what is it when someone goads another to the point of a fight and then claims to be the victim? Because that's what Dr. G did. And Google AI is calling it reactive abuse. Reactive abuse occurs when the victim either becomes exhausted or frustrated, or the aggressor in response to the stuff. Why do narcissistic personalities play the victim? Ooh, let's go to Psych Central. I wonder, is this Dr. G's favorite website? Because he's a psych. He's a psychiatrist. I wonder, does he come here to get his diagnoses? Oh, listen. So when a narcissist plays the victim, it may be directly connected to some symptoms of NPD. NPD is narcissistic personality disorder. By the way, I'm not a doctor or nothing. I just looked up one definition. I just looked up something and it took me to this. I'm not saying this. Google is sending me on this wormhole, you guys. If you've ever been in a relationship with someone with narcissistic personality disorder, you may have noticed that they lack both self-awareness and self-reflection. In general, people with narcissistic personalities have a difficult time being aware of their behaviors and how these affect others. They might not be able to see it even when you point it out to them. This is why they feel attacked when you contradict them or tell them that they've done something wrong. This just doesn't align with their inflated sense of self. Interesting, Dr. G. Really tell us more. This is part of the complexity of narcissistic personality disorder, the tendency to have low introspection combined with an exaggerated sense of superiority may leave them unable to see the situation in a way that doesn't fit their worldview. As a result, they may play the victim role in some scenarios. And isn't that what Dr. Contessa was saying about Dr. G? Is that he saw things very differently than everybody else? Remember? She was saying that he saw things that, like, we didn't even see that shit happen. He said that he was sitting on the beach, minding his own business, when King took off his shirt and started running at him, full steam ahead. Does that sound exactly like what we just read? Yeah, it does, right? He has a sense of self, and he has a sense of entitlement. He wants Quad to apologize. That's high key entitlement. You want Quad, the woman you abused, to apologize to you for her man wanting to protect her from you again. You guys. You guys. The sense of entitlement Dr. G has, the denial and low insight. At the finale, he was like, oh, the group needs to figure it out. Why does the group need to figure out the shit that you started, sir? Nobody over here has any idea why you called the police, G. Nobody over here knows why you would have provoked this man, goaded this man, instigated into action, and then run away only to try to press charges. With your denial and low insight, your grandiosity. You said, I was standing up to you. I was standing up to you. Your projection. You projected onto King everything that you actually did to King. Your need for control, Dr. G. You want to control Sweet Tea, Quad, everything so bad that you need anybody who would stand up against you in the way of that. You want them in jail for 90 days for doing nothing but reacting to your goading. Really? And then you have a narcissistic rage. Let's see what that does. Let's go to narcissistic rage, because I feel like you calling the police was an example of narcissistic rage. What is narcissistic collapse and what are the signs? Narcissistic collapse is an intense emotional reaction experienced by narcissistic persons when they sense a setback. Oh my God. It can lead to withdrawal and vindictive behaviors. Oh my God. We got a masterclass in narcissistic behavior this season on Married to Medicine, messing around with Dr. G and Sweet and Sour. Okay? Just listen to this and tell me if it doesn't sound like what we witnessed with Dr. G this season, okay? When he was faced with Quad and Sweet Tea sharing information that he didn't feel like shows him in a good light, he went off. He had a collapse in front of our eyes the night of the vibe check. This is all allegedly, but what I feel based off of this article that I'm reading now, I did not even know this word until this second, but based off of what I've witnessed at the vibe check, a narcissistic collapse could be what we witnessed when Dr. G was poking Sweet Tea with the whiteboard, yelling in her ear, grabbing her, trying to control her, didn't even want, he was so mad that she could hear what he couldn't control. It was crazy. Let's continue with this. The signs of narcissistic collapse may vary from person to person. In general, it may involve an intense emotional reaction and tendency towards vindictive behavior, but it also could lead to depression and withdrawal. Oh my gosh, that's exactly what he was going through in the Last Supper, right? When he was like, I'm so affected by how everybody didn't run to me after I created this problem, right? And then he got vindictive. So he was trying to press charges. He tried to get a restraining order. He wanted King to not be around the group. That's all vindictive shit, Dr. G. Narcissistic collapse isn't a permanent occurrence. Once it happens, the emotional pain will decrease and the person may return to feeling their usual. In popular culture, people with narcissistic personality disorder are often portrayed as self-assured, confident, who care nothing about others. In reality, people with NPD are complex emotional beings like everyone else. They live with a mental health condition that has a form of symptom like grandiosity, low empathy, and a constant need for praise and admiration. Although there's no consensus about it, some experts have found that the attitude of superiority may help them compensate for fragile self-esteem and sense of vulnerability. That sounds spot on, right? There is limited research about it, though, and it's difficult to determine whether this really applies to everyone with MPD. Now, narcissistic collapse, what is it? Narcissistic collapse refers to an emotional reaction to some people with narcissistic personality disorder under specific circumstances. It's a condition or formal, it's a condition. Oh, it isn't a condition or formal symptom of MPD. It may also be more common among people with certain types of narcissism. What causes a collapse? Mental health experts like Dr. G. So Dr. G has this in his wheelhouse, you guys. For him to have access to this information and then still be acting like this, I'm like, is he a maniacal, robotic doctor? Like he just became a psychiatrist so he could legally mind fuck people? I don't know. It's very interesting. It can result in high levels of stress and hurt. When a narcissistic person doesn't receive the external validation they believe they deserve, it results in stress and hurt. Oh my God, that's exactly what Dr. G said he felt like. He said he was hurt. He was traumatized and hurt because he's not getting the validation he believes he deserves from the fellas around the fight. Oh my gosh. The emotional pain may turn to narcissistic rage, the rage at the core of the narcissistic collapse. And a good idea to remember that we're all unique in this sense. Not everyone who serves MPD the same way at the same time, not everyone with MPD experiences collapses. Instead, they assume narcissistic breakdowns as a behavior of emotional response to the frustration when they've had a setback. When they don't get their constant supply of validation or someone injures their self-esteem, their superior facade collapses. A narcissistic collapse may happen because others don't see the person like they want to be seen. For example, when Quad was saying what she experienced with Dr. G and how she left him, Dr. G didn't want to be seen as a person who was leavable. So he immediately got mad, right? Or perhaps they didn't get that promotion and or their partner has left them. Oh, I hadn't even got to that part. A collapse can also be triggered as a self-defense technique if they feel their image or self-esteem is being threatened, right? The example exposed engaging narcissistic manipulation game. Oh my God, another thing to look at because I told you he was playing mind games. Let's see what this is. Oh my gosh, 6 games people with narcissistic play. 6 games that people with narcissistic personality disorder play. They play the whys and hows of narcissistic personality, different manifestations, top games they play, gaslighting, love bombing, ghosting, triangulation, playing the victim, and revenge. We saw Dr. G do all of these things. He gaslit Sweet Tea right after he did the abuse thing. They got by the elevator and he gaslit her and told her had her ears not been working. He told her not to listen. But her ears were still open, and it's her fault her ears were open because he told her that quad was bad and she shouldn't be listened to. Gaslighting. But let's see what gaslighting really is. We're going to go in here. Okay, gaslighting. You probably heard gaslighting, gotten quite a bit of attention. Indeed. Gaslighting is a form of severe emotional manipulation where the goal of the gaslighter is to sow seeds of confusion. This aims to make you doubt your own thoughts, emotions, or reality. Narcissistic gaslighting is typically a long-term, gradual technique. Sweetie, you in danger, girl. You in danger. The ultimate intention is to keep you under tight control and dependent on them. Remember, he would always say those things to Quad when she was the wife. And that's part of why he wants a baby so bad. It's ultimate control over a woman, especially when you control the purse strings. And now you have her womb and she has to have all your time doing exactly what you think she needs to do with your seed. Whatever. I would never have his baby. For example, during breakfast, you ask your partner to pick up milk from the store on their way home. When he comes home and arrives with no milk, and when you point it out, the answer is, you never told me to. You're imagining it. The thing is, the more someone gaslights you, the more you begin to doubt yourself and wonder if they're right. More common ways to gaslight someone. I did it because I love you. You're too sensitive. Nobody has ever done for you what I have. And those are all energies that we've gotten from Dr. G's interaction. I pay for everything. This is my house. I do everything around, like just always the victim. No, bitch, you do that because men provide. That's why you did it. Okay? Let's look at another thing they do. Oh, come back. No, I'm sorry. Where did desktop one? There we go. Sorry. And then another thing they do is called love bombing. Now, love bombing, love bombing, they said that Louis Ruella, Rock Lobster, over on Real Housewives of New Jersey, love bombed Teresa, and everybody thinks he's a narcissist too. Let's see what love bombing is. If you ever thought it was too soon for someone to love you that much, it probably was. And they probably love bomb you. Love bombing can take many forms, but it usually is a person pushing too far too soon. For example, in someone saying you're amazing, or I've never met anyone like you before, when they actually hardly know you at all. It also includes showering you with expensive gifts, flowers, fancy dinners, together forever conversations. It can involve more extreme behaviors like stalking and jealousy. Being love bombed can sometimes feel extremely flattering before you feel inclined to respond to these romantic gestures. Consider doing two things, okay? Go beyond their words and gestures and focus on how much they really have to base all this love on you. Ask yourself if you're increasingly feeling committed to this person or obligated to correspond when you wouldn't be interested otherwise. Love bombing someone, hunting for attention and dependency. Examples, giving almost an obsessive type of attention and not accepting no for an answer, trying to make you feel guilty for not having the same feelings, disapproving of your friends and people in your life, planning your entire lives around their dreams and fantasies, repeatedly showing up unannounced or making plans for you both without asking first, demanding more affection and attention, in the name of loving you so much, saying I love you or claiming you as their soulmate after knowing you for a very short time, getting upset when you ask for space or have plans on your own. Now, love bombing happens personality disorder, forming healthy attachments. Doesn't mean you can't enjoy his stuff, but this pins. Now, what comes after the love bombing? So there's a sequence. You get gaslit, you get love bombed. So first you get told you're stupid, and then to make up for it, they give you a rose, and then you get ghosted. Ghosting is what happens when somebody suddenly stops communicating without warning. We saw Dr. G ghost Sweet and Sour. We saw him go Sweet and Sour. Remember? He got up to the room. He caused all of that commotion at the vibe check. He caused all of that commotion at the vibe check, right? And I'm saying he caused it because he's a psychiatrist who has the mental resources and the schooling required to know how to have dealt with Quad's drunken rant. People are like, Quad started it? No, she was still in reaction to what Dr. G put her through, in my opinion. So Quad didn't start anything. It was a continuation of the pain she endured from being in relationship with Dr. G. That's what I got from it. And the rum loosened her tongue enough. Loosen up my button, baby. Yeah, loosened her tongue enough that she was able to freely share what she had endured in front of the group again. And I'll say it again. I've told it you guys in another live that the reason I think Quad even said, reiterated what she endured at the hands of Dr. G, I truly feel like she reiterated it because they've all been entertaining that abuser at her expense, having him over constantly. The only people that wasn't having Dr. G over was Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Damon. They were not having Dr. G and his new girlfriend over ever. But they have been welcome at the other people's houses during this time. Okay? And for that friend circle to protect this abusive man, I don't care if he's a doctor. I don't care if he's your frat brother. I don't care. He has a problem. He puts his hands on women and then goads them into action. And then when they respond, he makes sure they end up with a mugshot, like how he did his wife, Quad. He wants them to end up with a mugshot, how he tried to do King. But we saw him ghost Sweet Tea at the elevator. Remember, he got the elevator, he was blaming her, and then they get back up to the room and he immediately takes his keys and he's like, I need to go. Remember? Ghosting happens when someone suddenly stops communicating with you. Remember, she was calling him and calling him and calling him, and all her calls went to voicemail, and she was on the elevator alone the night after Quad went off. Remember? You finally accepted the date with this person who inundated you with the attention for the last few weeks. And then the day after the date, you try checking their Instagram and find you've been blocked. This is no mistake of some kind. So then you text them, nothing. Hours later, you try calling them, nothing. You've been ghosted. The act of ghosting is a power move that someone with narcissistic personality disorder may use. There are many reasons why someone might ghost you. It may be because they lost interest and want to avoid conflict, and it may be because they want to see your reaction and how much you care. Often it's another manipulation tactic, a breakup game. They use it to feel they had the last word and control in a relationship. Do narcissists come back after ghosting? Not likely, but they may fight I'm sorry, not likely, but they might if they want to gain something from it. Now, remember, not everyone who ghosts you has a personality disorder. The tactic can be used by anyone in any circumstance, and it's not a sign of mental health condition. But he definitely ghosted her by leaving the room and then sending all her calls to voicemail. Now, triangulation is another way a person with an NPD might feel they can maintain the upper hand. In some, triangulation is getting a third person involved in your communication channels. Oh, so could that be Contessa? Could Contessa be his triangulation? The Scots could be his triangulation couple because they see nothing, no problem with how he treats her. And they said that stuff happens in marriages. Says the volatile couple who look like they really like to wrestle hard before they get it on, perhaps. I don't know. In other words, when you send your message through the third person, you justify the action the third person told me. Triangulation can also take many forms. A common one is trying to get you jealous and compete for their attention by incessantly comparing you directly or indirectly with a third person. He said things like, I don't want her to turn into quad, so I don't know what that means. Say your best friend is jealous of the one you had most friendships, and they say, I don't know why, but Alexis said some really rude things about you the other night. I defended you, of course. And then you might go to Alexis and say the same thing about them. Triangulation. And then ultimately, the last thing that MPDs do is play the victim, which is right where Dr. G is right now in the season finale. Dr. G was the consummate victim, right? He was the victim's victim. He was the capital V in victim. He was the Vic in victim. He was the Tim in victim. He was Vic and Tim in victim. His feelings were hurt. He was depressed. The people didn't rally behind him and support his bullshit, making false police reports on other black people. Oh my gosh. So now he's a victim, you guys. Because it's difficult for them to engage in self-reflection, NPDs may justify themselves when things weren't going their way. They often mean putting the blame on others when their life isn't planning out. For example, they might justify not meeting their goals by whining about it all the time. Either way, they're playing the victim. They also blame others for the disappointment, and it feels better than internalizing the idea that they might not be qualified to get whatever they're getting. In romantic relationships, playing the victim may get you to back off. For example, him playing the victim with sweet and sour. Your partner gets really defensive after you tell them you forgot to pick up the milk, and they start saying how exhausted they are, how much they needed to come home to get some peace, and how you managed to ruin it for them every time. This makes you back off and leave them alone. And then we have revenge. That's the ultimate, right? Calling the police on King, wanting for him to go to jail for 90 days, and then wanting, as another form of revenge, to make Quad apologize so it can stop King from going to jail, is high-key vindictive. So if a person with NPD feels they've been embarrassed, rejected, or treated unfairly, it can provoke an intense sense of shame, humiliation, and rage. It's often called narcissistic rage or rage injury. Okay? Sometimes these overwhelmingly negative feelings can lead the person with narcissistic personality to become vindictive. Narcissistic rage may lead to them unleashing an all-out campaign to ruin you. Isn't that what it sounds like? So you're going to goad this man into a fight and then go to the police and try 18 ways to get charges pressed on him. And then when that doesn't work, then you're trying to do a restraining order. So it's just all to ruin King and Quad. It's all to ruin them because now you're the enemy because you have the truth on your side. They come up with a long-term plan to get revenge. I'm telling you, the revenge tactic could use slander, abuse, property destruction, extreme cases, physical violence. Okay? So we looked at those. And it was all because we were looking at a narcissistic collapse. Okay. So a person having a narcissistic collapse may gravitate towards behaviors that put their or other people's safety in jeopardy. Gambling, excessive drinking, substance abuse, reckless driving, increased irritability, increased sensitivity, verbal expressions, strong emotions like hate, erratic, non-typical behavior, self-harm, manipulation tactics, silent treatment, ghosting, anxiety, intense anger outbursts. That's a lot, you guys. That is a lot for the word of the day. That all came from the word of the day. Do you remember what it is? The word of the day.
Instigate.
Was instigate. Okay. And I feel like Sweet Tea does a lot of instigating herself. Her and Dr. G are a match made in heaven. Oh, and then I had showed you guys this. The other night, Dr. Heavenly said that Cecil doesn't take up for Simone. And so he said he will from now on. He will from now on. Good for you, Cecil. Oh, you know what? Let me show you guys this. Remember?
Only using it as a reference. So for knowing you 20 plus years in any other type of
You know I was
situation,
about to knock the brakes off our head, right? You know that, right? We seen that happen.
allegedly.
So when the growth was to exit.
Yes.
And let's be real, okay? Can we talk about it?
Yeah.
And I'm a name drop. Giselle knows daggone well that she would not speak to me that way if there was no security and not the platform. She would get her head knocked off by anybody talking to anybody that way. So the fact that
The mere fact that they're talking about all this violence on these shows where the women are paid to talk and throw shade is ridiculous. And another sign why this bitch right here does not belong on any platforms where there's any type of integrity or anything like that. She's a liar. She's for the streets. They need to get her a stripper pole. She's about that life. Go do that life then, bitch. And I don't even like Giselle like that, but she was going to get her head knocked off, really? For you doing... That's another narcissistic. She's an NPD, a narcissistic personality disorder, I believe. Because nothing's ever her fault. She gave us all of this. And why does he look like Gordon? She's obsessed.
apologize to her. And then you got it.
And that's another... See, Mia is the perfect person to show who be freaking a narcissistic. She blames everybody. She gaslights. She ghosts. She, oh my gosh, she's totally into those types of behaviors. Anyway, she's such a freaking liar. I can't. But now her and Soapbox have a podcast. Nobody cares, Mia. I'm sorry I tortured you guys with that. Oh, and why is Dr. Heavenly the only one always saying she's sorry? Because yeah, she's only one saying that she's sorry. Because this is what when Simone is supposed to say sorry, she's like, I'm not apologizing. And even though she's like, I'm not apologizing. I said it when I was mad and you should have left me alone. Isn't that when Dr. Heavenly says your mama? Isn't that when everybody says all of these worst, horrible things ever in life is when they're mad? But oh, everybody else has to apologize, but except for Toya and Simone. Okay, I get it, bitch. I get it, mean girl. I get it. Somebody put you in charge. You're on the list. You and Simone don't have to apologize because you're the only ones on the show that get to be mad. I get it. I get it. I don't appreciate it and I don't agree, but I get it. Let's see. Then I had, so there's a lot of things happening on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. They're saying that the reunion has already taped and they have some reports over here on Reality Scoop. So Sutton apologized. Garcelle talked about Morgan, and Dorito is still playing in our face. But let's see. I do think that the Morgan Wade drama is legitimate. And I don't know why. Why are we only talking about certain people's stuff? She literally played in our face with Morgan Wade. Even Andy was like, "Are you a lesbian?" But now every time Garcelle opens her mouth, it's a problem. We have questions. We're not clear. We're confused because you're leaving us confused. But it's a problem. And Kyle has all the power. And we don't need to talk about that on her show. And then what else? Yeah. And then it looks like Sutton and Dorito are going to be forgiving each other. And I don't know about that. And then also in Reality Scoop, was it this one? No, that's the same one I just opened. Is it this one? Oh, I thought it was a different one. I thought I did two different articles, but you know what we could do? Okay. Oh, PK got spotted out with a mystery woman. The Dubros are selling their latest mansion for $25 million. Okay. Nobody cares. Anything else before we get out of here? We've been on here for almost an hour. Oh, this was really interesting. Listen with this story because I was like, what is going on? Here we go. Did you guys see this story?
Virginia State High School League Championships when the shocking incident happened.
That's when she hit me with the baton.
Watch again as you see the two sprinters running side by side as they round the corner.
Hey, Celine.
Outside, Kaylin's mother cheering her on. Just as Kaylin is passing the other runner, the athlete swings her baton, striking Kaylin.
I just felt a bang on my head and then I fell off the track immediately.
Kaylin dropping her baton and reaching for her head.
The whole Coliseum pretty much gasped. I just jumped up out of the bleachers immediately and ran to her on the main floor.
The 16-year-old was later diagnosed with a concussion. The family says neither the athlete who struck Kaylin nor the other team's coaches checked on Kaylin or reached out afterwards.
To see that they kept running and she not stop and check on my daughter, that was the part I was like, it couldn't have been an accident.
The other runner, who attends IC Norcom High School, has not been named. Kaylin's parents say Norcom's athletic director and the girl's father apologized in a phone call, but they're still waiting for the opposing athlete and her coaches to reach out.
We definitely want the coaches and a personal apology from the actual athlete as well, because it's only right.
The Virginia High School League saying in a statement, "We thoroughly review every instance like this," adding, "The VHSL membership has always made it a priority to provide student athletes with a safe environment for competition."
So we reached out to the other team school and school district for comment, and we haven't gotten a response. But meanwhile, Caitlin's parents say that they're still waiting to see what disciplinary actions will be taken against the other athlete before deciding their next steps. In the meantime, guys, because Caitlin's been recovering for a week, they're hoping that she can finally return to school today.
Oh,
Okay, she's been out. We're
yeah,
caring.
exactly. We're glad she's okay.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Okay, so that was one part. That's what happened. Was you saw it, the girl was running track, this other girl beat her in the head with a baton. She has a skull fracture, all kind of shit. Didn't stop, kept on running. But then there's this. This is the girl who hit her and her family. Look at the posturing, is quite different. We just saw the parents of the victim sit beside her, be very calm and gracious. And these people right here, look at this.
Reached out to us and say, well, what happened on y'all side? What's y'all story before we air this footage?
And they're not even looking at the facts. The fact is she was tripped. The girl caused the accident, not on purpose. She, like I said, she wanted to win.
She wanted to win.
She cut my daughter off in the process. She got injured. Like I said, we apologize before her getting hit, but like I said, she never.
I want you to watch.
Coached our children up until high school.
Watch how the girl, she's going to be smiling back here. I'm going to make it big. And you guys look at her. She's going to be smiling and all kind of stuff. She not sorry. She did this shit on purpose. And they're about to get sued, and rightfully so. And every track athlete that I know says that their coaches teach them to have their arms a very specific way. And for her arm to be the way that it was intentional, because that goes against her training and her conditioning. Let's continue to listen, but look at her face.
We seen our children get bones broken and fractures and get fouled, and we had to what? It hurts, trust me, but we're here to teach them a lesson as well. We have to teach them good sportsmanship, things of that nature. So it's funny, the person with probably the most sportsmanship, too much, I would say,
exactly,
is the one being looked at by the nation as an animal. Now you can check the facts and the records. Now I invite you to come look at everything we have, and you will see it for yourself. And it won't take long for you to figure it out. The fact that she's been made to be a monster by the public is horrible, and we all catch bad deals.
I was check up for her if she was wrong. We just try to help fix what she did. But if she was wrong, she was there wrong, I will take up for that. That's not our value. We don't do that.
Okay. So I thought that was interesting. Let me see, was the other one where like she literally cracked the girl in the head and then yeah, okay. I don't have it on this thread, but she had cracked the girl in the head and then did an interview crying, you guys. Here, I can find it if I go back in here. TikTok. And what's it called?
Reached out to us and say, well, what happened on y'all side? What's y'all story before we air this footage?
And they're not even looking at the facts. The fact is she was tripped. The girl caused the accident, not on purpose. She, like I said, she wanted to win.
She wanted to win.
She cut my daughter off in the process. She got injured. Like I said, we apologize before her getting hit, but like I said, she never.
See if we can get her reaction. Where is it? Oh, here it is. So she ended up getting charged. Let's go here.
So that high school track runner that allegedly hit her competitor with the baton has been charged with battery and assault.
Details about a moment.
It's official. 18-year-old Alayla Everett, the track runner from Virginia who viciously attacked her competitor in the middle of a race, has been charged with a...
Damn.
Everybody has feelings. So you're physically hurt, but You're not thinking of my mental weight. They're going off of one angle. A couple times hitting her my baton got stuck behind her back like this and it rolled up her back. I lost my balance and when I pumped my arms again, she got hit. I know my intentions and I would never hit somebody on purpose. They're assuming my character, calling me ghetto, racist slurs, death threats, all of this just because of a 9-second video. Everybody has feelings. So you're physically hurt, but
It's official. 18-year-old Alayla Everett, the track runner from Virginia who viciously attacked her competitor in the middle of a race, has been charged with assault and battery. Instead of apologizing or showing even a shred of remorse, Everett and her family are denying any wrongdoing, and that's shameful. Let's be clear, this wasn't an accident. During the Virginia High School League Championship, Caitlin Tucker was running the second leg of the 4x200 relay. As she tried to pass Everett, Alayla took her metal baton and smashed Caitlin in the back of the head, knocking her out of the race completely. Caitlin suffered a concussion and a fractured skull. All she ever wanted was an apology, but instead, Everett lied, claimed her baton was stuck on Caitlin's shirt. The video proves that's not true. She did it on purpose, and now she doesn't want to face the consequences. This wasn't just a dirty move. It was an assault. It's a disgrace to sportsmanship, and it's a crime. Caitlin's family is now seeking a protective order because they're afraid of what might happen next. Sports are supposed to teach respect, discipline, and fairness. Everett's actions destroyed that, and now the law is stepping in. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. It's official.
So that high school track runner that allegedly hit her competitor with the baton has been charged with battery and assault.
Details about a moment caught on camera during a track meet in Virginia. A high school athlete accused of attacking her opponent. ABC's Andrea Fujii has the latest. This morning, a high school track runner accused of attacking her opponent with a baton now faces assault and battery charges. But she insists it was an accident.
I'm sorry I hit her. I didn't mean to hit her. It was intentional.
It happened during a relay race at the Virginia High School League Championships. Kayleen Tucker was passing Alayla Everett when Everett appeared to suddenly swing her baton, hitting Tucker in the back of the head, sending her to the ground. Everett says it happened because she lost her balance.
So I'm like this in the air. I catch my balance, pump my arms. She's cutting in, so when I pump my arms, she got hit.
I just felt a bang on my head and then I fell off the track immediately.
Tucker suffered a concussion, and the judges disqualified Everett, who says intense public scrutiny quickly followed.
Death threats, racist people, people making fake accounts to talk and harass me on my page.
Tucker's mother saying Everett did not apologize. The family blames safety concerns at the track.
She wanted my daughter to run over there in front of all these people that may jump on her because they thought she attacked the other runner.
The Everetts have since apologized. The assault and battery charge would be a misdemeanor. No court date has been set.
The court of public opinion is not on Everett's side because even though she says that it was an accident and a bad camera angle, many people believe that the hit was intentional, especially when she was talking about how people should consider her feelings even though she physically harmed another person. It just comes off as that she's not really sorry, she's just sorry that she's facing consequences for her actions. Do y'all think this was an accident, or do y'all think she let her inner thoughts get the best of her? So that high school track runner that
I think that she is guilty. And I don't know that it's a great look for her freaking parents to be taking that up for her. I don't know. It's just not a good look. The way that they're explaining the story doesn't look like that's what my eyes saw. Just like when Rodney King got his ass beat, it didn't look like he was resisting arrest to me. But then again, those are just my eyeballs. Anyway, you guys. Anyway. Thanks for coming through to LRGA Curves today. Make sure you smash that like button. Smash the subscribe button. Thanks for those of you who came back. We were in here. We were in the building earlier in Mercury retrograde. Wanted me to have to stop my live, so I did. And but I was determined, so I pivoted. I didn't panic, and I came back and talked to you about all these things I wanted to talk to you about. Oh, but I didn't tell you about Anne Marie. Anne Marie, you guys, remember she was on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and she was a one season wonder because she couldn't stop talking about Sutton's esophagus. Remember, it was just so weird. And then she said that she was just like a doctor, but she's a nurse anesthesiologist. Remember that whole thing? Also, while she was on the show, it came out that her husband, Wiley, was Marcellus Wiley. I think his name is Marcellus. When he was in college, he got hit with the SA charge, sexual assault charge. And we did a story here because while she was on the show, that charge came up, and he has a YouTube channel where he went and said his side on the YouTube channel. And I have it here in my archives. If you find the tape on Anne Marie Wiley, the new housewife, and her husband, because he actually, I think he got rid of that video since that time, because I'm like, ooh, that's not a good look. He was basically on his YouTube channel talking about it wasn't what she said, it was, she wanted it. It was really bad, you guys. Well, now two women are saying that in the 90s he essayed them, and the stories are eerily similar, and the college did everything they could to protect them and villainize his victims. And yeah, in addition to that happening in her life, for some reason she can't stop funking with Garcelle, and she's still talking about Garcelle all this time later. She's fucking obsessed. I don't know why the three melanated goddesses on Beverly Hills were unable to unite. That would have been excellent. But Anne Marie came on and she was immediately attacking Sutton. Garcelle's not having that. Bose came on and Bose is immediately attacking Sutton. Garcelle's not having that. That's not how you get to be the black girl's friend, is by attacking her friend. That's not how it happens. They should have just came in and been nice to Garcelle, but they expect something from Garcelle. I don't know. Like Anne Marie thought that Garcelle should have fought all her battles while she was attacking Sutton. It's weird. But oh, and also Anne Marie is suing the Association of Anesthesiologists, the ADA. Is it the ADA or the ASA? Anyway, she's suing a lot of people. She has time, you guys. Ever since she's off Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, this one right here, Anne Marie, she has time. She has time to sue. She has time to go to bat for her husband, who has 2 sexual assault cases. She has time to argue with Garcelle. She has time to love. Oh, she loves 45. Let's hurry up and go to her page. She loves 45. She loves the current administration. Let's go. And there it is. She loves the current administration. Oh, and you know who else loves the current administration? Dorito. Dorito loves the current administration. Let's see. So February this year, she was at the White House because she loves the current administration. What does she say? Succeeded against all odds, dream boldly, honored to have been invited to the White House to celebrate Black History Month, surrounded by so much love and power. Dr. Contessa loves it too. America! This is America! This is America! It's America! Welcome to the White House! Things ain't what they seem! Going to a dictatorship! Authoritarian! Jungle! Welcome to the jungle! Oh, they're so excited to be among their peers. Look at all the people checking for Trump. Oh my gosh, look at that. Oh my gosh, kiss us in the Trump play. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here where they're rolling back DEI and sending all the people away. And then, oh yeah, she said she did an immigrant remark towards Garcelle because you know Garcelle is Haitian. And she said something about, I'm surprised you're still here. I'm surprised you haven't left yet, is what this bitch told Garcelle. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She loves it. She's so... Look, oh, this is sad. Thank you. Sad. Okay, and then this is something from when?
This is quite possibly the most uninformed and ignorant thing I have ever heard. Listen to this.
These are men, competing against women. You're assuming that the women are weak and just can't do anything yourself. They're here. Have you seen female athletes? They know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure what's going on or why this is an issue.
I have a message for Whoopi Goldberg and anyone else.
Did you notice that all of Anne-Marie's messages are for other black women?
Else that thinks that biological men competing in women's sports isn't a big deal. Women wanting fair competition does not make us weak and frail. It actually makes us strong and shows that we know our worth. And yes, we know what we're doing because we have trained our entire lives to compete in our sport. And we don't want our opportunities taken away by a biological male that has different muscle fibers, lung capacity, heart size, oxygen carrying capacity, wingspan, strength, just to name a few things, Whoopi. And Whoopi, if you think it's not a big deal, why don't you come on over and play basketball in my backyard against my 6'5", 280-pound ex-NFL husband and his NFL friends, and let me know how that goes for you. This is...
So she doesn't, that's not fair because Whoopi's much older. Perhaps Whoopi in her heyday, when she had her knees, maybe she could have done one-on-one with your ex-NFL husband, as long as he wasn't going to try to push up on her and have an SA situation the way he has in these two other cases. Why are you trying to put her on a court with all these NFL men while your husband got these cases pending? I don't know. Yeah, I took it there. She's very full of herself, you guys. She's so full.
Listen to Serena Williams say that she wouldn't play sports against men.
Actually, it's funny because Andy Murray, he was been joking about myself and him playing a match, and I'm like, Andy, seriously, like, are you kidding me? Because for me, tennis and men's tennis and women's tennis are completely almost two separate sports. So I'm like, if I were to play Andy Murray, I would lose 6-0, 6-0 in 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because it's true. It's true. It's a completely different sport. The men are a lot faster, and they serve harder, they hit harder. It's just a different game, and I love to play women's tennis, and I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed. I would not do the tour. I wouldn't do Billie Jean any justice. So Andy, stop it. Yeah. I'm not gonna let you kill me.
So she's really into, and even on the show, she had a little, some time where she was saying that women only in women's sports. And I don't disagree, but now she's now she's a Fox correspondent too. Listen to this.
Wow. And look at that hug. Not a partisan issue, not a race issue. That is unity right there. That is empathy. That's love. That's a young man's dreams coming true. And the Democrats couldn't even clap for that. Anne-Marie, what's wrong with them?
Watching that is truly, truly heartbreaking, David. And let me tell you, as someone who has been a nurse anesthetist for 12 years, I've been a registered nurse for 21 years, I have seen children like DJ. DJ is a 13-year-old boy with terminal brain cancer. The strength and resilience that that young man has and the trauma that he has gone through in his life, most of us will never face what DJ is facing. That is someone that we should be uplifting, championing, and all supporting. That is not a partisan issue. That is not a Republican versus Democrat.
Look what she wrote here.
That is a little boy that we should all collectively be lifting up and cheering for. And the fact that they can't put it.
She loves Trump, you guys. She loves him. She said their hatred for President Trump runs so deep that they couldn't put their politics aside. You guys, she loves Trump. Let me try to find this comment she made to see, she left the Democratic Party. She's been over there with Megyn Kelly.
We were completely vilified, labeled transphobe. It affects such a small percentage of people. Why do you care so much about this issue? It's turning up the temperature, little bits at a time, to see what we as a society will tolerate. And so I think people that can foresee the bigger issue that this becomes, if you are allowing, someone born male to compete against women, and you're essentially erasing what it means to be female biologically, then what is going to happen next? What comes after this? Dominoes will keep falling. And I don't want my girls to look up 10, 20 years from now and be like, where did this all come from? I can't live with myself, knowing that I didn't say anything about it at the time, about how ludicrous this issue actually is, and the fact that people won't speak out against it. There's a reason why people are always silent on this issue, because if you say something about it, if you speak out against trans athletes competing in women's sports, that's when you get labeled. Like, these words are
they call you a bigot.
They call you a bigot. They call you transphobic. These words are used as weapons in order to scare people into silence. And they don't want to lose endorsements. They don't want to lose contracts. But that is what it affects. We were completely vilified, labeled transphobic. They're like, she follows Candace Owens on social media. She's best friends with Candace Owens. I've actually never met Candace Owens. I do think she's brilliant, but I've never met her. The media essentially canceled me. The reason that I started following Candace Owens, because I was never into politics prior to any of this. I was a lifelong Democrat, and it was remember when Balenciaga put out that campaign, the pedophilia campaign? As a mother with 4 children, I was outraged. And I did not understand, Megan, why so many people were so quiet on the issue. And on social media, some of the people that I did notice talking about it were you, Tucker Carlson, who I also didn't know who he was at the time, and Candace Owens, who again, I didn't know who she was at the time, but I started following her because she was covering so much of it. When that was weaponized against me, saying, well, she's best friends with Candace Owens, because I was opposed to pedophilia, it was really disturbing. It was very, very
Candace
disturbing.
is radical in that way. She too is opposed to pedophilia and will fight out against it, speak out unabashedly when she sees.
We were completely vilified.
Okay. So she speaks a lot about that. I'm trying to find, where I have to go? I have to go see if she's tagged over here. Let's see if she's tagged in this. Because sometimes the people catch it. Let's see. Okay. Okay, she's not tagged on it. I'm not seeing it over here. So let's go to Garcelle's page. Maybe Garcelle was tagged on it. You hear last night when Garcelle said, fuck Erica. I'm with you, girl. Fuck Erica. I did not like that scene last night where she's like trying to rewrite history, like she doesn't have burn victims' blood on her hands. Oh, this is a lot. Let's keep going. She's tagged in a lot of stuff. What happened a while ago? This is all from the last week. Okay. Because that, I have it in my phone, but we're on my phone. But she responded with not all skin folk or kinfolk after Anne-Marie came after her again, talking about, you're still here? I thought you'd be gone by now. Damn. I'll post it in my community tab. That's what I'll do, because I do have pictures of it, and I'll post it in my community tab what freaking Marcellus Wiley and Anne-Marie Wiley's wife had to say about the stuff. Oh, this is the seating chart. That came out on the 1st. I don't know. I feel like those two, I don't know why they're making it like Bose has a problem with, or maybe she's next because she's against both of them and Kyle always gets first chair. I don't think Kyle did a lot this season to get first chair. Let me see. Anybody else in this picture? Okay, so I'm making a note to post what Anne-Marie said to her about, you're still here? Bose. Did we go over Bose's stuff? Kinda. Dr. Heavenly, I just have her up here because everybody wants to blame her. I was on a live with Chanel's Reality yesterday, and we were up there for some hours talking about the stuff. And she's another person that just is, that's just not on the Heavenly train, but she also says that there would be no Married to Medicine without Dr. Heavenly. So yeah, and Phaedra couldn't ruin it, but I feel like Simone's dead horses are an issue. Yeah. Anyway, you guys, thanks for coming through. Thanks for being you, Mademoiselle, Riri Cook, Zelene Turner, anybody else who's in the bushes. Make sure you go out, make it the day you deserve. Remember, there's enough to go around, so go get some. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Leave a comment, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, ring the bell, and you'll get notified when we come back again. See you later.